Will VGK be a contender or will the upcoming season be more of a rebuilding year? That's a question that our very own Chris Golick posed to Golden Knights fans yesterday. We'll get more reactions on the topic right here on Locked On Golden Knights.
You're Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hi again, everyone. Tony Cardasco, Chris Golick from Las Vegas. Thanks for making us your first listen each and every day. You can find us wherever you get your podcast, places like Apple, Spotify, Odyssey, or wherever you get your podcast. And please subscribe to our Locked On Golden Knights YouTube channel. We are brought to you today by FanDuel. Go to FanDuel.com/lockedon, and new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. You are the trollster, man. Especially with a long summer, long off season, what makes you believe, Mr. Golick, that this could be a rebuilding season ahead? I feel VGK is going to reload and not rebuild.
Well, it's more or less what I feel the end result is going to be, not what the mindset is. We know McCrimmon, McPhee, Foley want this team to contend. Let's make sure we don't mince perspectives here. I'm more or less talking what I think the end result is going to be. And obviously the pulse of the VGK fans, we've got 200 and something votes. 87.2% say contend and 12.8% say rebuild. Probably half of those are troll accounts and the other half are probably Tony's burners. But here's what I'll say. So Tony, the Golden Knights won the Stanley Cup, obviously, in 2023. Yes, that's what happened. The best Golden Knights team ever, according to Kelly McCrimmon, did not win the Stanley Cup in 2024. Now, there's reasons, there's chemistry, there's injuries. We get all that. What I can tell you right now is the 2025 version of the Golden Knights, the 2025 playoff version, the best way to say that, will not be the best Golden Knights team ever. Now, maybe some things will happen in the offseason. You never know what's going to end up happening. But right now, we're just simply looking at the trajectory of the last couple of seasons here. There's so many questions coming into next season. Jonathan Marchessault obviously heads up that list. If the Golden Knights sign Jonathan Marchessault, they're going to have to make a move from strength elsewhere. Shea Theodore, all eyes seem to be pointing at him right now as far as unloading his contract to make room to sign Jonathan Marchessault. If the Golden Knights do not sign Jonathan Marchessault, there's $6 million to work with to do something. And maybe they still trade Theodore and make it $10 million to work with. And whether that's Mitch Marner, no, or whether it's a series of, $3 or $4 million players to clog the hole, who knows? But there's just so many questions coming in the next season. And by the way, there's nothing to indicate that the Golden Knights are not going to lead the league in injuries and be among the league leaders in man games lost for now a fourth consecutive season. So you got just so many questions coming into it. That's why I am leaning towards the end result of next season ends up mirroring more of a rebuild type of situation. I'm not saying the Golden Knights don't want to contend. They're coming in as contenders. Let's be completely clear about this. But so many questions starting from the salary situation leading up to next season, who the new players are going to be. Will the Henderson players step up? Will Mark Stone's back stay healthy for another year? Too many questions. I don't feel as bullish about the end result being similar to the last couple of seasons.
One of the comments by Dean Jones I saw on the thread felt that the season will depend on young guys, Brisson, Dorofeev, Cotter, Korczak.
And that's not a concern right away? Just stop. Tony, that doesn't concern you?
No. Let me finish my thought process here.
That's what I'm saying.
So, but I am saying right now, at this very moment, I am putting the number of new players over 3.5. I'm going to say there will be more than 3.5 new players with this organization next season.
Are you saying now? So you're saying it's going to be 7.5 because you have the pre-trade deadline number and then the post-trade deadline number.
Okay, that's fair. But I'm saying after the summer, there will be 3 new additions from the roster of all the players that were eating BLTs with Bill Foley.
And last year was 0. Last year was 0. That's important. That's definitely
I
important.
think there's going to be new additions over the
Yeah.
summer. There has to be because they have to rebuild this roster. And Kelly McCrimmon said that this roster is going to look a lot different.
Yes, and let's be clear again. McCrimmon's going to do everything he can to make this a contender, and maybe shame on me for not having full and complete confidence, Chris Condos. Maybe shame on me for not having full and complete confidence in the end results leading to the Golden Knights not being the 8th seed in the Western Conference. And someone else was very confident that it'll be the Golden Knights and Canucks as the top. There you go. Postseason pings. They're going to finish near the top of the league, top of the division. Vancouver and Vegas will be top 2 Pacific Division teams. Like, okay, cool, fine. Great effort by Vancouver last night. We'll talk about that later, of course. But I don't know. I just think this season there's so many questions. And to be fair, there was questions coming into season 6 when they won the Stanley Cup after what happened in season 5, and things worked out. It's going to be a similar offseason. I think the one thing the Golden Knights did not have from a season over and from an offseason over offseason perspective was that hunger of not being Stanley Cup champions. Season 5 to season 6, the Golden Knights missed the playoffs, unfortunate, and things didn't work out. Season 6, they win the Stanley Cup. It's between seasons 7 and 8, it's a similar circumstance, right? The Golden Knights are coming in as a first round one and done type of team. They were better than that, but the reality is the Golden Knights went one and done, and there's going to be some hunger and motivation coming into next season, which is going to help push the team, hopefully not through the beginning and the end, because the Golden Knights have been okay in the beginning and end of the last 2 seasons now under Cassidy, but the dog days of summer, so to speak, the Golden Knights definitely need to find a way to do a little bit better.
Are you concerned about this team's overall depth? And again, we just go back to injuries, yes, lack of chemistry, blah, 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 but the lack of overall depth sometimes has hurt this team. Or quality depth, I should say. Yes?
Yeah, no. So I'm going back to Dean Jones' comment right here. Do you think next season to be more of a rebuilding year? And then he lists players such as Brisson, Dorofeev, Cotter, Korczak, Romberg, etc. Romberg, right. Okay, he's a depth guy. He's like on the next tier. Korczak, I'm bullish on Korczak being able to be comfortably in the bottom 3 defensive pairing next year, if that's where the path takes him. Paul Cotter is who he is at this point.
Didn't
right?
fit in.
Cotter,
did not fit in this past season. Did not.
Well, Cotter doesn't. Cotter. We know what type of player Cotter is, but Cotter has not found a way to have a comfortable role on this team. I think Cotter wants to be a skill guy, which he has some skill. Everyone go back to that move against Philly where he dangled it between his legs and wound up getting that great goal.
That was Philly.
And then he tried it 26 more times and he failed. So, I mean, what are you going to do right there? So Cotter, I think, is going to be, if he can just focus on being an energy guy, a glue guy, something like what Kolasar is out there doing on a nightly basis, Cotter will have a hard time being pulled from the lineup. If Cotter can help a player like William Karlsson on that third line, I think that can definitely do wonders for the Golden Knights. But the reality is Cotter's defensive ability and it takes a lot of penalties that people don't like. Those are some things that are concerning about Cotter.
Is that the highest paid third line setter in the NHL?
Absolutely, Tony, and he's worth it. So stop it. Pavel Dorofeev, we're excited about, and I'll talk about him at least in my portion of the second segment. So, but yeah, depth in general, I'm concerned about, and then now you're losing a Jonathan Marchessault potentially, or Jonathan Marchessault's extension, which is not even close to being a done deal right now, but Jonathan Marchessault's extension will cause other dominoes to fall. You don't have Mantha and other players as well now.
I don't know what's out there, but I said 3 years at $8 million. What else? I haven't read some of these other projections, but what's out there right now? Do you know?
They're busy talking about Robin Lehner next year. I think Jonathan Marchessault very comfortably will get 3 times 8, or I think someone very comfortable will give him 4 times 8.
Good, that would be great. Let's get someone really old in this organization.
What's that?
Let's get older, and that's one of the biggest.
I didn't say VGK is going to give him 4 times 8. I think someone will give him 4 times 8. I think VGK is going to try and come in at the 3 and 6.5 to 7 range, and I don't see I don't know. I mean, Jonathan Marchessault owes absolutely nothing to the Vegas Golden Knights, and people who think he's going to give a hometown discount and he should, no, he shouldn't. He should do what's best for him and his family. And if taking a lower deal is best for him and his family, that's fine. But there's no way, shape, or form he should feel inclined to do anything for the Golden Knights, who could have had this all worked out last July, last September, even before last December, which would have saved the organization a ton of money. So
the organization is getting older.
Come to roost.
They're getting a little bit older, and sooner or later they're going to hit a wall. They will. A lot of these players and players that had career seasons this past year might not replicate that the upcoming season. I could see a little bit what your troll job is. I see the method.
It's not a troll. That's the thing. You and I had a conversation about this, I think, on Sunday, trying to figure
let me stir it out.
And I took the temperature of VGK Nation, and I got exactly what I thought. Everyone is very comfortable that they're going to be a contender, and I think that's more of an emotional response. And I don't think people are necessarily going past the first or second layer of the onion.
Okay, coming up next. Exciting storylines for next year. I just put what are some of the storylines we are looking forward to for the next season. We get to that.
Whatever the napkin says, Tony. Whatever the napkin says.
We'll get to that when we return right here on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights. It is winner take all time in the NBA and NHL. Is it ever? A lot of game sevens, and FanDuel is giving you a shot to bring home a big win of your own. So right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 to bet on point spreads, money lines, player props, and much, much more. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and make every playoff shot count. FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. We are back on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights. Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick from Las Vegas. Thanks for making us your first listen each and every day. We appreciate you doing so. You can find us wherever you get your podcast. And please make sure that you subscribe to our Locked On Golden Knights YouTube channel. And it's a holiday week already. Holy smokes. So most people will be out of office starting today, tomorrow, through the mid part of next week. That's the way we do vacations and extended holidays here in Vegas.
It's a long vacation.
What are some of the storylines leading into next season? Number one has to be LTIR. Number 1A has to be chemistry. That will be a storyline. More new players, over 3.5 from the end of the season to the start of next in the lineup. Number 3, the VGK bounce back after the first round exit. Number 4. Here's a good one for you. Where's the scoring going to come from? Again, they ended the season in a funk. A year ago, they couldn't stop scoring goals, and now they couldn't score any goals, chemistry notwithstanding, and all those other excuses. So what are your storylines, Mr. Golick?
Will the Dragon be back in season number 8? No.
That's a good one.
For me,
did not have that on my bingo card.
I'm looking forward to Mark Stone. I'll start there. Mark Stone, spleen injury, weird situation. Played before his injury 56 of 56 games, 53 points. So I hope Mark Stone's back injuries are behind him and we get to see a full
It is behind him. That's behind him.
Thanks, Tony.
Okay.
The second thing for me I'm looking forward to is a potential breakouts for Pavel Dorofeev and or Brendan Brisson. I mean, Brisson could break out simply by playing, 50-plus games at the NHL level next year. But Pavel Dorofeev is where I'll focus on. I really want to see him get locked in with line mates and see what damage he can do should he wind up playing a full season. 47 games, 24 points, right around his career average, a point every other game. I'd love to see if Dorofeev can elevate that if he does play 82 games, which all signs points to that happening, injuries pending, to be a 50-point-plus player for a season. Number 3 for me, I'm looking forward to is the unknown. We don't know what the heck's going to happen next year. It's VGK land. You never know what's going to happen. Next for me, and maybe this probably should have been higher, would be a full season with Tomas Hertl and Noah Hannafin. Hurdle needs to be obviously in the center position, like we talked about. Whoever his line mates are, he'll definitely be in a great spot to succeed. Noah Hannafin, I think, just brings our defensive core to a brand new level. And last one for me, Nicholas Waugh. I really want to see Nicholas Waugh get out of that fourth line role. I know people love seeing him down there. And really, as it sits, the top three centers seem to be pretty locked in, unless for some crazy reason Nick Waugh goes up and Hurdle stays on the wing or something strange like that.
Yeah, that's stupid. I totally disagree.
No, I'm not a fan of Hurdle on the wing. I'm not arguing.
No, with what Cassidy was saying there when they were emptying out the lockers.
He's just talking. He's just yapping. Happy birthday yesterday,
well,
Coach Cassidy. Funny video.
Yeah, it's a nice tan.
But no, back to Nicholas Waugh. I really want to see if Nicholas Waugh can succeed as a daily player, not being in the bottom nine. I mean, 70 points or 70 games last season, 13 goals, 28 assists, 41 points. That's primarily as a line four center. He had some power play time, some kill time, and of course he got moved around because of injuries and such. But Nicholas Waugh is a player who I think is being underutilized as the fourth line center. I get the depth, I get the mismatch and everything, but Nicholas Waugh could easily elevate to 50 or more points, even if he plays only 70 games, if he's playing somewhere in the top nine. But again, can Nicholas Waugh become a winger? That's really the only path, and he hasn't had that much success. So we'll see. So that's my 5 storylines right now.
5? I have like 8 or 9. Okay, my next storyline.
I ran out of room on the napkin, Tony. My napkins are smaller.
Who's minding the net? Who is minding the net? That will be a big storyline. Now, we saw Jonathan Marchessault, Salt Lake City.
Marchessault is not minding the net.
No. I'm just saying, because he was a veteran and he went through like a lot of stuff this past season, not knowing the uncertainty of his future. Is he going to be here? What's he going to do? Is he going to make more money? Extended contract? Again, it wears
on. 2 goalies now in that situation.
Now you have 2 goalies in that situation who are not veterans. And one could be a little bit of a head case at times.
Logan's got a chip on his shoulder. Let's be clear about this. Logan Thompson is going to have a major chip on his shoulder. I think,
you know what? Let's really blow this up. Get rid of Sean Burke. Can we do that? Can I do that?
I think you missed the napkin opportunity there. There, Tony.
Okay.
But I'm not against revisiting the VGK goaltending coach situation. I will not at all argue that with you one bit.
Okay. Who is left when the dust settles? I think that is something. That's a point. The roster.
Well, what you're saying, let's be clear about that. I want to expand on that.
The roster will be blown up, and there's going to be a lot of change.
Are you saying the roster gets blown up in the offseason? Are you saying something happens next season? Like
no, in the offseason.
I got you. Okay, yeah. I'm very curious to see how that shakes out. Go ahead. I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, that was it on that end. And then what's it going to be like with how many AHL players will be on the major level, on the major league NHL level this upcoming season? We told you over 50 some odd call-ups. And again, that's a state of flux, I think, with all of those call-ups. And you could blame yourselves on a lot of the chemistry issues, because you're bringing up players up and down, back and forth, the I-215, that whole thoroughfare, and the traffic that goes with it.
Are you saying the Golden Knights contributed to the traffic congestion in this valley because they called so many players up and down?
54 call-ups, that's a busy, it just depends what time of day.
There is no good time of day to drive in this town. It's a pain in the butt. I mean, no, I'm always excited to see what the Silver Knights can do and who's ready to help contribute right now. And I mean, Logan Thompson obviously is as homebred as it gets. People forget that Logan's got a really nice story, starting with the Wheat Kings and working his way up and everything to where he is now.
To him trolling you.
Will Logan Thompson be a Golden Knight at season's end is maybe a good conversation.
You're going to get
there's so many things right now. There's so many things right now.
Yeah, there's not just one concrete storyline, but I guess the biggest thing will be, can VGK bounce back after not, just getting thumped there they didn't get thumped, but the first round exit obviously hurt, and they keep playing the narrative of the long summer and getting back and more time to heal and a lot of vacation time, I think.
The boys are enjoying golfing right now. We know that, and they should. I mean, they, besides the ones that weren't here last year, I mean, the ones that were here last year and did get to enjoy the Stanley Cup shenanigans and everything. They're trust me, they're okay right now. I mean, they wanted to win. Don't kid yourself, but big picture, they acknowledge the situation and they're making the most of it right now, and they earned it. And it's unfortunate that it was a one and done type of situation. You watch the way Dallas is going through, and that could have been the Golden Knights winning on Edmonton right now. That could have been, and but unfortunately, it's not what the reality is.
Coming up next, a look at the NHL playoffs when we return right here on Locked On Golden Knights. Back on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights, Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick. There's no read there, Mr. Golick.
Yeah, I clicked that and I looked down. I'm like, oh, okay.
It's kind of weird anyway, me going solo there on the screen. We appreciate you making us your first listen every day. Fridays will be WTF Day, and that's going to be brought up there about Chris on the controls. And, of course, Saturdays, the Chris times Chris show. That will come your way, the YouTube exclusive. And please subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is Locked On Golden Knights. We appreciate you doing so, and we do appreciate all of your comments that you make. And I'm glad that I'm not in the spotlight lately. I think you're starting to take it over. Thank you so much. Thanks for taking
I want to throw a plug in really fast before we start here our playoff. We have extra time today. So again, everyone knows about my business situation, sports cards and things like that. I wrote an article for the Hockey News, and basically it surrounds upon the person who maybe the last time you bought yourself a pack of hockey cards that had a really nasty, hard piece of gum inside of it. And you walk through your local Target and Walmart, you see all these hockey cards on the shelf, but you don't know what the heck to do and what to buy. And then if you want to take it to the next level and stuff like that. So if you've ever been curious about buying hockey cards and just kind of don't know where to start, if you go to my pinned comments on my Twitter handle at TDChrisG, or if you simply look up the Hockey News /collectibles, you'll see one that shows a bunch of pack of cards there, and it talks about just kind of things like that, maybe things you may not know as a new collector into the hobby. So check that out, give it a few clicks, and I think you'll enjoy it.
Is there an expiration date on that said gum?
No. And there's still packs out there that have gum, and there's videos of these idiots on YouTube still eating the gum and stuff, and it's bad.
It is pretty bad. We have to do a card show here as one of our topics, put on the napkin in the parking lot, if you will.
It'll be fun.
Yeah. That'd be a lot of fun. NHL playoff, when we find out who the new 3.5 players are that are joining the roster this summer. NHL playoff action. So Edmonton advances to the Western Conference Final and will now be facing the Dallas Stars, the top seed in the West, in the best of 7 conference final. So it's going to be a home ice advantage now for the Stars, and you got to hand it to the Canucks. Again, without Brock Besser last night, and also Thatcher Demko never did return for the Canucks. And Nugent Hopkins there had a goal and an assist last night, Ryan Nugent Hopkins, and Canucks trail 3-0. Nice battle back, scoring twice in the third. And Thursday will be game number 1, Stars Oilers that day. So you got to hand it to the Oilers, coming way back from Never Land there to make it into the playoff picture. And now they're playing for a chance to go to the Stanley Cup final. I tell you what, it's going to be that potent offense of Edmonton against the stifling defense of Peter DeBoer. This is a good matchup, at least dynamically.
Yeah, I mean, maybe let's save like predictions and stuff for tomorrow.
Yeah.
What we think is going to happen. But
there's nothing on the napkin right now for tomorrow. So
no, there we go. So looking right here, just looking at local sports betting and stuff like that. Here's the Stanley Cup winners and each of their odds for the remaining 4 teams. Florida's the favorite at plus 210. Dallas Stars plus 225. Edmonton Oilers plus 260. And the team with the best record in hockey and home ice advantage for the entire playoffs, your New York Rangers, Tony, are plus 375.
Are they still going to choke because they won the President's Trophy?
I think that's out of the equation at this point. Series prices: Dallas minus 125, Edmonton plus 105, New York Rangers plus 130, Florida Panthers minus 150.
They've gone the furthest, right, of any team of late winning the President's Trophy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't get this. You look at the first round line here. You got the Rangers and Panthers are minus 110. That's a pick 'em. Stars minus 130. Edmonton minus 110. Man, that's a good spot for Dallas. But we'll talk about that maybe tomorrow.
I'm interested in the totals. Do you have a total?
Yeah, Florida and the Rangers 5.5. Edmonton and Dallas 6. Which those are the right numbers. And they're both basically even. They're both basically toss pick'ems as well, minus 110. So, yeah, I mean, it's going to be fun to see how those two series shake out. Starting with the Dallas-Edmonton series. Dallas is, even though they went 6 games, they've been waiting for a while. Scheduling is kind of quirky there. And that series won't start, till Thursday?
Thursday and Wednesday night will be the Rangers.
Dallas is going to have 6 calendar days off versus Edmonton only having 3 or something like that. So curious to see. You're going to have the Edmonton Oilers in rhythm, so to speak.
Rest versus rust.
Yeah, rust versus rust, 100%. For first period, Edmonton take Dallas in game when they're down by a goal, and there you go, cash a ticket. I mean, Rangers, Panthers, they're both resting there. I mean, Rangers got a little more rest, I think. They think their series started earlier. So, yeah, it's the point in the season where there's no hockey every now and then. But at the maximum, credit Mick Kern for this one. At the maximum, there's 21 games of hockey left. At the minimum, there's 12 games of hockey left. It's kind of starting to suck thinking about that.
Yeah, so it'll pretty much now ramp up to where it's nearly every other day where we're going to have a hockey game. Right?
Yeah, pretty much. I don't know if they're going to build extra travel days in for the Western Conference Finals, but definitely the Stanley Cup Final almost always has the extra travel days between all of the swings, if you will, the home road swings.
So that's the latest update on the NHL playoffs. Oh, I just wanted to ask your opinion there. Were you surprised as me that the Canucks made it this far?
I think that's disrespectful. Not you're being disrespectful, but I mean,
they
were a division winner.
Being disrespectful.
I don't know. I don't think so. I mean,
I didn't think that they would hang on to the top spot in the Pacific Division, and now they make it all the way to within 1 goal, of equalizing the Edmonton Oilers, and who knows what happens if that game goes into OT.
I mean, I think let's start by crediting. I got it, and I mean, maybe I shouldn't have waited 27 minutes into the show, but I've been all over the Oilers coaching situation, and Knobloch got to get a ton of respect for what he did. Let's make sure I'm very clear about this.
Yeah, because you were blasting him. I know you're an Oilers fan. I know that you were an Oilers fan.
I'm a McDavid fan. I'm definitely a McDavid fan, and I will definitely happily say it's good for the NHL if the Oilers and McDavid do win a Stanley Cup.
It's good for the Golic business.
It's good
too.
for my bid. Okay. But no, listen, Knobloch deserves a ton of credit. Down 3-2, down I think every game in this series, if I'm not mistaken, until the end. And found a way to twist the dials, found a way to, rotated the goalies, changed the lines up, benched Corey Perry, all these different things that happened. And they end up knocking out the division winner as a road team in Game 7 to advance to the Dallas series against the Dallas Stars. So full credit to Knobloch. Maybe Knobloch is the man that the Oilers need. Knobloch versus Pete DeBoer. We'll see what happens. We know Pete DeBoer has been very comfortable with status quo and not maybe making an aggressive move. Knobloch is. So that's going to be a fun storyline to watch in the Edmonton-Dallas series.
Yeah, and again, we talked about the narrative of perhaps having all 4 division winners for the first time ever.
First time ever. I didn't know that was the first time ever.
Since the 70s, cool. Yeah, with the configuration of the 4 divisions there. We appreciate everyone tuning in. Thank you so much. We appreciate you making us your first listen every day. Thanks to the everydayers, you make this show tick. And don't forget Friday's WTF. That's what the Friday. All your comments are accepted. Take some good-natured shots at Mr. Golic. And Saturday, it's the Chris and Chris Jr. Show, the YouTube exclusive. We appreciate you tuning in. For my man, Chris Golic, I'm Tony Cardasco from Las Vegas. We'll see you again tomorrow right here. We're under 30 minutes. I'm Locked On Golden Knights. And please, take care.